You can consider this a set review in a way. I don't know what you want to consider it, but I'm going to go through each of the colors, commons and uncommons, and I'm kind of going to rate them how I think they'll be. But really, the process is more for me to see what the color's trying to do, just to try to get an overall picture. I'm saying there's not going to be any grades of like piss or anything, unfortunately. I'm really just looking through like to see what the colors look like. So, I mean, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna organize all the commons like in an order that I think would be a pick order. But what you gotta realize is it really has no bearing after the first couple. Because only the first couple are going to be early enough in the draft to where you might just pick them on power level alone, right? Like this guy, it doesn't matter where I rate this guy. Because you're never going to pick him like first, second, third pick of a draft. I wouldn't think. You know, same with a lot of these cards. So unless it's the absolute top commons, you're going to have more information to go on by the time you get to them. So I just kind of look around and I start putting them kind of middle of the road. Like this looks like an okay card. You know, it doesn't matter where I put it. You know what I mean? This seems worse to me. But I don't really know about that guy. This seems about here. I'm just kind of looking around. I like this guy a little more. I like this a little more. This is maybe here. I don't know about that. You know. Just fucking guesses, really. It really doesn't matter. I may do less than I even think I'm going to do. Mac may want an actual, like, card-by-card list. Like, I think some of these are probably the worst ones, you know, and then some of these, I don't know. I'll try to figure it out. So right now, a guess for me is these are probably the top three. I would think this may be the best one, but this, I'm fucking just guessing. I would think, like, you know, and this order probably matters more than the other orders because these are the ones you might first pick. Then I think this guy's pretty good. I would imagine this might be pretty, you know, you'd be pretty happy to play it. This is, you know, that's probably a tier down from these. I mean, this is a really crude list. I don't think this guy's very good. I don't have any idea about this. I think failed conversion is similar to recycler, but worse than informant. That's fine. I mean, I don't know, like, what's best. The Ichor Shade, the Gorilla, the Familiar, like, I don't fucking know. This Village Rights, this thing, they seem about the same. This guy's okay, I guess. I don't know. This doesn't seem very good to me. Why is that over here? I mean, how does this look, Mac? Agent over Recycler. Let's put him here then. I don't care. The Flyer is good. Is it good enough to move up a whole pile? Like, I don't. I could be wrong on all of this shit. I'm just trying to get a look at what Black has to offer. It has to offer some removal and some creatures. Mostly looks mediocre to me. Well, I put them in order of what I think they are. I think 1, 2, 3, but I could be completely wrong. I did nothing but lose the other day. Like, I don't particularly want any of this stuff in my deck. I don't think I want this thing in my deck, but maybe it's okay. Oh, I think Flourish is number 3. Do you think this is the worst of the removal? I have a hard time believing that this is worse than Vanquish. I have a hard time believing that. But I could do that. I mean, these guys, I don't even know that they're better than this stuff. If we thought one of these 3 was better than the others, I could put it here. I didn't fucking know. I mean, you get like a village rights, you get a way to get creatures back, you get some 3-drops, some 2-drops, and some removal. But I mean, this is just my Mac. You can make your own. This to me is not going to have much value. But just the looking at the color is more what I'm into. But I told you I'd take pictures. We can post them or whatever if you want. You can make your own. We can see like we did before. I mean, this is as detailed as I'm going to get them. I'm not going to try to rank them all one by one. Black common. A JPEG fine, or is that not going to post? Alpilism, if you don't like the content, buzz the fuck off. I'm not doing this for you. How about that? Now I'm going to go to the black uncommons, and I want to do that next because I'm trying to get a look at the color. Uncommons. I didn't know that was Pauly D. Maybe I did. All right, uncommons, at least there's less of them. This thing seems kind of meh. This thing maybe seems better than this, I think. What's this? This one seems probably better than this. Oh my god. Oh, it's gone crazy. I don't know. This guy seemed really good. I mean, I think I like Yargle more than Render Inert, but I don't know. I don't think you're going to play Temerate all that often. There's like, I don't feel like it matters if you exile their graveyard. I mean, you can play it if you're going to have enough black, I guess, but this seems like a good sideboard, probably in the main deck. Yeah, I think it's garbage. Why would I at least think it's one of the worst of the black uncommons? You think it's good? It seems pretty garbagey to me. I mean, to be honest with you, most of these cards look pretty good. I mean, I'll play Yargle if I've got some ways to get it through. I'll play Temerate if my deck's black enough. I think all these cards are perfectly playable. And then I think this is actively good in a deck. I think this guy was pretty good. I like this guy. I know these guys are all good. I guess it could have a. I mean, why are you asking? If I put it over here, you know I don't like it, right? I haven't. I could be wrong. I don't know. If it's your favorite card, play it. Mac, do you have any strong feelings on like these few cards here? Like, is one clearly the best? Like, I'd probably put this guy, then this guy. Honestly, then this guy, then this. I think Nightmare is the best. Who's fucking Nightmare? Oh, this. Yeah, me too. I liked Nightmare, then Thalid, then these can kind of maybe interchange. This would go into more decks, but this I think is super fucking good. Huntmaster is my top out of those, or whatever it's called. Anyways. I mean, I gotta put this guy here, but I don't think you'd pick him until you kind of knew what your deck was more about. I feel kind of roughly like this. I don't know. Like clear first, clear second for me, and then I don't know which one is better, and then depending. And that menace fucker seems like it might be worth the next pile. Could you be any, like, what does that mean? This is a menace fucker. What pile? There's no way I'm picking him over these right now. Well, I'm not picking him over these, so I don't think so. He could have his own pile for all I care if you think he's that much better than these two. You know, maybe this is better and I'm not rating it right, or or this or this. I don't want to move him up with these cards because I don't think I'd pick him over them yet, but maybe. I'll give him his own spot for you, Alpo, since you're such a big contributor. So basically you get good removal. And the uncommons give you a little bit better top end than the commons give you. So maybe for that reason, maybe you're like really in black, really hurting for this guy. I could see this guy playing out better just because you don't have that effect at common at all. You have the land cycler, and that's like your biggest thing. So yeah, I could see. I'm moving him back to here. Get fucked. You don't get your own pile now. In fact, fuck no. Yeah, I don't know about this one, but the rest of these could be better than this guy anyways. We lost a pile, boys. We lost a pile. That's okay. 8. Gotta find desktop. Why isn't the folder there that says, there it is, mom's cards. Let's see if that worked before I move it out of here. Well, on to blue. Blue commons. This one seems, move these over. This doesn't seem very good to me. Doesn't seem very good. Seems not very good. Seems not very good. Seems better. Might be better. I don't know. Seems not very good. Seems not very good. Ryan Tucker, thank you for the subscription. Rook cap, I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to try to figure it out. Blue looks awful to me. I don't like any of the blue cards, basically. I don't know, these looked better than these. This guy's probably my favorite. Even know what my second favorite, probably a counter spell. I don't know how these play out. I think I'm champion. Then dispersal. This. All these cards I have, I think, are pretty good. Okay. Then I'm about right here. I don't know about these cards. These I just haven't really played with. Is this thing any good? Seems not. I mean, basically none of this stuff I want to make my deck, but I'm sure it will some of the time. I don't think it's good. I played with it multiple times. I played with the Incubate 3 multiple times. It was not good for me. I'm not trying to... I mean, I think you can put, like, this card in your deck. I think you can put this... I mean, I don't know if you can put this guy in your deck. Maybe. The conversion can go in your deck. What's the lookout? The lookout can probably go in your deck. It might be good in some decks, even. This thing you can play a copy. This thing, I guess you can play if you're Convoke. This thing you can play, but I don't think any of them are good. But I don't think any of them are unplayable. That 2-drop looks good. This? The 2/3 defender? Doesn't look good to me. Looks pretty bad to me. I don't think it will be good. I mean, I don't think you'll cry if you play it as your 23rd card, but I don't think it looks good. You know, I don't think it... You guys, I don't know what you want from it. I didn't rip it up and throw it in the garbage, but you think it deserves... You think it's better than every one of these cards? That it needs to move up a pile? Because I certainly don't. I think it looks shit. I think QQ Rhythm has not played enough draft to have any fucking idea how Blue-White Knights would feel. Nor do I think anyone in the world has. A sample size of 3? I take it back. He is a deck. Put him as the local expert for Knights. We'll mark him down as our Knight expert. I didn't know what to call it. What did I put? I said review, thoughts, ratings. I don't know what you call this. Me and Matt call it order in the comments. But I didn't want to put that because nobody would fucking know anything what it was. I'm just trying to get a feel for the colors. And to me, this looks like shit. It's got very few cards that I'm going to... Like, it's got maybe 3 or 4 good commons. And then other stuff you'd want to pick middle of the pack at most. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but like none of these cards are something you're going to want to like, man, if I just had that lookout, this deck would be perfect. I don't know if that's what you guys are thinking or if you're thinking it's not the word. I'm not, you could play any of these. This is a 3/2 flyer for 4. They don't make cards that just don't do anything anymore. Every one of these cards you can put in your deck. and it will be fine. And some of the times it'll be great. Some of the times this might be your best draw, or this might be your best draw. This could be one of your best draws if you got a bunch of mana. I don't think this ever really will be, but these guys will both be solid. This guy, I mean, if you want to make a new pile, I think these two are probably the worst. You know, I do think these two are worse than these guys. I was told this could be good in some spells decks. Like, there might be a deck that actually wants it. I could imagine that a deck could want negate. I could imagine a deck could want this. And I just don't know about the stasis field, so I put it up here. I mean, the only thing I can take from QQ is that maybe he thinks that the Knight should be a pile lower because he doesn't think Knights are a good deck. But I think this card is fine, and you can just put it in your deck, and it's probably better than these cards. So, I mean, I'm going to leave it here. I don't know. But, like, what I've got is these 5 cards. In my opinion, I'm pretty happy to play them all. And these 4 cards, I'm probably not looking to cut very often. And then these are kind of situationally maybe quite good, and this is all your filler. Is kind of the way I've organized, and that's all I'm trying to get out of this. I'm sure you'll have some decks that really would want one of these guys. Or you'll have some decks that like really would want, you know, a Moment of Truth or whatever. And they may jump over cards in this pile at that point. But and then once I play, like if I realize there's an archetype I like that really wants this guy, or he may just be good and I might be underrating him. You know, he could jump this whole pile and it wouldn't shock me. But this is just kind of where I see it right now. Again, if I'm always drafting decks that want this card, I'm going to take it over a land cycler. You know, like it just depends on what you got going on. It's just a guess. These are commons. The next pile I do will be uncommons. There's a VOD of it. If you miss something and want to go back, but I'm not going to keep going back and forth. This is blue commons. What are you talking about? Istami, what are you... No offense, Istami, but I doubt you've even played, so why do I care where you want to move the card? I'll ask somebody if like somebody like Mac or Siggy speaks up, I'll probably take their advice. I'm doing this for me in order to get a view of the colors. I'm doing this for Matt because I know he wants to do all this shit to prepare. That's why I'm saving the pictures. And then I'm doing this for anybody that wants to watch it and think it's interesting. But I mean, I'm not going to listen to you. You can tell me what you think, but I'm not going to like take your advice on any of it. Tim? Who's Tim? These are the blue uncommons. So again, I just kind of move them around where I think they might go. This guy doesn't look very good to me. I don't even know what this one does. I need to reread it. How do you... Transforms, top card. This guy actually seems pretty good. I never played with it, though. Seems good to me, but I don't. I also like Tetsuku. I loved this guy. This thing seems pretty good. This thing doesn't seem great. What's this? This thing everybody fucking loved, but I didn't think it was insane. This seemed better than I thought it was. I don't know much about that one. This seems like shit to me. So, like, you're like trying to get a mana war out of a 4 mana, like. So at best case, you're gonna get like 4 mana, 2/3 flyer that bounces your. I guess it does draw a card, huh? I don't know. To me, this is poop, but I could be wrong. It might be good. Inga's solid. What's this thing? This seems pretty good. Slow. This didn't impress me. This didn't look too good either. But it is a convoke card. It might be good. I don't know. Blue's got me fucked up. I never played with this one, but it looks good. I'll put those above this. I like Tetsuko. This card played out well. I mean, this guy to me looks kind of good. Like he could go in the next pile. To me, none of this looks great. This is somewhat interesting. This all looks kind of like shit. I would do roughly like this. I'm also less confident in this order than the last one, so I would be more willing perhaps to move stuff around. Skycleave Aerialist. I don't even. Oh, this? It's just a 2/1 flyer for 2 that you can make bigger. I think it's just fucking good. I don't know. Not the what? Well, I put it on the screen. It's the best I can do. Mac, you got any moves for this? Just fucking wrap this up. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. Well, actually, let's not. So yeah, bring in the commons as well. So you're getting like some decent creatures at uncommon, some decent interaction at common. I mean, blue might be fine. It's just it's got a lot of like to me middling cards that I don't know exactly. I might really like blue because blue was kind of like this in Theros, and I really liked it. That was probably years ago, but you had a lot of stuff that was like playable and different, and you could kind of I don't know. Blue's got a lot of playables, but it doesn't have a lot of like really good ones. I might like blue though. I don't know. Kind of see where it's going at least. I feel like blue uncommon. Gold uncommons. We'll do good. We'll do those last. Green commons. Forest Cycler is fine. This guy seems worse than the Forest Cycler. This guy seems even worse than that. This guy, I don't really know. I haven't got to play with him much. I would assume better than this guy. The Beast won't bad, but maybe about here. I don't. This seems worse still. Probably like that. This seems probably maybe here. This guy was good. Probably up here. This guy also good. This guy also good. Probably better. Seems not good. Seems very good. Seems pretty fine. Seems maybe here. Doesn't seem good. So I basically think these 4 look bad. These 2 look kind of meh. These are I mean, this is probably up. This guy maybe is. I mean, he's not as bad as these. I don't think. Pest, then hunger. You like War Historian first? Is that what you're saying? And then pest? You like pest first, then hunger. Then historian? Well, can I just put them all in one pile? Because I don't know how good they are. I don't have but so many rooms for piles. Like, I think these two come after it somewhere. After these three, but they're better than everything else, I think. I mean, I don't really know. The fox doesn't. I can put the fox in this pile, I guess. I mean, are any of these, like, too good to be lumped together? No, I legit can't. I can make them smaller, you prick. Don't you see the slider? Fertilid is bad. I loved that card. Fertilid's Favor? I don't know. It doesn't seem great. I think I played it in a deck. I don't think it's unplayable. Well, then don't watch. It's here for the people that want to watch. Fine. How about this? So we got a fight spell and then just creatures. Green just has creatures at common. It has a pump spell, it has a ramp spell, and then it just has creatures in a fight. Oh, wrong button. I do like the converter beasts. Well, he could have been moved, man. I already took the picture now, so fuck him. Green uncommons. For those who don't pay any attention to Magic, battles are uncommon or higher. This guy's awesome. This guy seems good. I don't know. Finn, I don't know if Finn's better or worse than that. This seems better. This, I think, seems better than these two. This may be down here. I don't like that much. Nada, I don't like much either. This I liked. This guy I liked as well, but maybe about here. I liked this one a lot too. This guy's about here. I had no idea how good this card is. 5 mana fight seems bad. I got him as the worst. I don't think that's very good, but maybe these are both bad. I don't think Renata's awful, and I don't think this guy's awful. Maybe all these together? Green, they look good, mostly, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Mac, are you here? You guys like the Kami. The Renata's not going up. If anything, the Renata's going down. Where do you like this thing? He wasn't very good to me. Maybe I just didn't have him in the right deck. Want him up here? I don't know. These guys look good, but I don't know where to put them. So he's not top 5? I thought you just said you wanted him moved. What? I don't understand what you're saying. I'm about to just go draft and fuck this and fuck off. This is too hard. I don't. Nah, this guy isn't that good. I mean, he's fine. He's probably worse than these guys. I don't know what to think of this card. Then I'll do this. Card Alpakami. I don't see anything that resembles that. I think it's worse than 5-mana Hunt the Week. You don't ever get indestructible. You can't attack after you fight. I mean, the Hunt the Week was so good because you kill something that was even, and then you got a free attack. This is you're going to kill something that's not even, and you don't get to attack if they have a fucking 1 left, and it costs 5 instead of 4. And then you got to deal 6, and I think it's awful, actually. I'm moving it down. I'm moving it all the way down to the bottom. I don't think you ever want to play it. I changed my mind. I think it's just actually off. Now that I thought about it. Istami tried to make me like it, and instead, what he likes about it makes me just think it's awful. The words that he used that he thought were endearing are the same words that made me hate it. No, that's fine. I'm not even trying to shit on him, but literally, it's 5 mana. It's way worse than Hunt the Week. And then you got to deal 6 damage to it to get a 4. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Yes, Hunt the Week. You can kill a 5/5, can kill a 5/5, which this can't. And then you get to attack with the creature after you fought, and they can't block it because it's indestructible. This, in the best case, you go, okay, my 4/4 is now a 5/5. It kills your 4, and then you probably don't get to attack because they have a 1/1 sitting. And then you have to deal 6 to it. It just, to me, it's awful. So I've changed my mind. All right, Hunt the Week then doesn't do that. There's a different Out Muscle. There you go, a good one. Either way, I don't like it. So green definitely is mostly creatures. Okay. You guys are free to disagree. I've never done worse at a set so far, so it's fine if you disagree. This is your most likely chance to disagree with me and be right that you may ever have. Red cards. Common red cards. If I can fucking move them. Jesus Christ. Nothing special. What do you do? Nothing special. Awful. Awful. Maybe nothing special. Awful. Nothing special. Best for sure. I don't really like it that much, but it's probably up in that area. I don't really like any of these. You can see decks that kind of, well, this probably needs to go like here. This guy probably needs to go up in here somewhere too. These I could see all being in some deck and being okay in a certain deck. This looks awful. I mean, that's better than that. Awful. I guess this guy should move up here, but I really don't like the idea of him being in a deck. This is just going to be a bad playable whenever you play it. Like, to me, this is just a bad playable. But, like, sometimes your deck might want one of these. Or one of these. Or, like, I think these are normally bad, but in some decks they might be good. I think all of these are always probably bad. Very undesirable. 23rd card and never going to be better. Worse than a 23rd card most of the time, but sometimes maybe like a 18th card in the right deck. I mean, this guy maybe is just fine, actually. I may just underrate him by a lot. Let's put him up here. I don't agree on Ren's Resolve being that bad. Okay. You think lots of decks want it? I think it's going to be undesirable in a lot of decks. And then some decks it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, it was awful. I can move it here. Yeah, I think it is. I think there's a lot of decks that's worse than a 19th land end, probably. I think there's a lot of decks that's really, really bad in. No, I think he's absolutely terrible. What's to like about this guy? I don't even like him at all. I thought he's just been dreadful every time I've seen him played. I think he just reads awful, plays awful. I see no redeeming qualities, really. I mean, I guess if you have like a 3-1, you can play him and get in for one turn with a 4-2 first strike. But then you have a 4-2 instead of a 3-1, they just block it. And this isn't worth anywhere near worth its cost. I don't like it. Like, I think this is like the generic card you can throw in as your last card, like I was saying. And I think cards like this in a certain deck will be way better than this. But if you just like throw a beat stick into your deck that doesn't want it, it's going to be worse than throwing in a coming in hot. Matt convinced me to move this up. I don't know. Red doesn't. Commons don't seem amazing to me. I'm getting tired of this. I'm going to go get an energy drink because I'm going to start doing this sloppily if I don't. I'm already kind of doing it sloppily. What about in red-white with mirror shield hoplates? I don't know what a mirror shield hoplate is, nor do I know what card you're asking about. What is a mirror shield hoplate? Red cap heal. This thing? What about it? I'd rather get any other 4-drop, I'd imagine, like in the whole set. You compare this to other red and white cards that cost 4 mana and find some you think are worse. Look, if this card costs 3 mana, it would be great. So obviously, like it has some impact on the board. I'm not saying it just sits there and does nothing, but you gotta put the cards in an order. So unless you can find something that's worse at doing this guy's job, this guy's being a 4-drop in your red-white deck. That's his job. So you want to call him a fullback, you want to call him a tight end, a linebacker. You know, we might have 6 linebackers on the team. We might have 6 4-drops in red-white at common and uncommon. And you got to find some that are worse than him, or else he's down here in the shit pile. We don't need him on this team. He serves no purpose to us. I can't imagine that there's something that costs 4 mana that's worse. But if you can come up with some, then maybe he's a little better than I think. I just can't imagine. I'd rather spend 4 mana on just about anything else. You might have one card in the set worse. That's kind of proving my point. I don't even know what that is, but that doesn't sound good either. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably put that card in the same kind of slot. Undesirable. I don't know. I gotta go get that drink. I just know every time anybody played that card against me, it didn't seem very good. I mean, obviously it could be better in a deck than this other crap, but I think in general it's bad. I don't know. There's zero chance if this guy's a 3/4 first strike for 4 that that's good in any deck. It always has first strike. It has first strike no matter what it targets. This card will always have first strike. I think the card stinks. I think a 3/4. It's obviously the worst case scenario is it's a 3/4 first strike. That's the worst case scenario. And I think that scenario is awful. Compared to all the other cards, obviously it's better than Hill Giant. Hill Giant's 3/3 with no text. You know, there were sets where Hill Giant was a great card. This isn't that world anymore. But that's kind of my point is, I mean, if this is the worst card in your deck, I mean, all it is, it's overcosted by half a mana or whatever. It'd be too good at 3, but I think it's bad at 4. If that's the worst card in your deck, you're probably doing fine. But I don't think you want a bunch of anything, any of the cards like that are pretty bad. Spite seems ridiculous. What is? Oh yeah, this card's great. Probably the best common in the set. Did I already take the picture? I think I already took the picture. Did I save it? I did. Alright, red uncommons. I don't think this guy was better than he looked. Like, this guy beat the shit out of me. But the other guy I hate. This I found kind of hard to play. This guy seems to be shit. This I kind of like. Stoke is great. I think this is pretty great. This guy was kind of meh. What's this one do? To me, this is kind of not great. It might be though. I mean, if it kills a creature, it's good. It's for sure. Also depends how many battles you have and stuff. It's somewhere up in here, probably. Well, Duke seems nice. This guy's nice. This card I like a lot. This card seems good. And this is probably sideboard card. Again, like this is probably the only card I think is bad in the whole bunch. And then this is a good sideboard. So I don't even know where to put that. You know, these to me, these two seem very decked, but they might just be good anyways, especially the sword. This guy seems pretty mediocre. He's still fine, but I think he seems worse than the other stuff. I'll put Stoke first. Then I don't really know. I probably like this one next, then this, then I don't even know. These two seem close. They're for different decks. And then these are going to be great in their archetype. All of these. And these two are probably more generically pretty good. These two might even go ahead of this pile, though. But if you have the deck for any of these, it probably jumps over these two. How? It's a fucking tormenting voice that you would play anyways. And the backside is awesome. I think it's great. I don't think this guy's ever great. I thought he was very mediocre. But I didn't get to play with him that much. I mean, I can do this with it. Maybe these guys are better. Again, I'm not upset to put this in my deck. I would do basically like this. Like, I'm very unsure on all of these, like what exact order they would go in. I think these two are very solid, but I do think any of these three, if your deck has some equipments and enchantments, you're going to want this over these two. If you're sacking, you're going to want this over these two. If you got pump spells, you're going to want that over these two. I'm not sure if you're going to want these over this pile. You might later in the draft. But I think any of these could easily be like your first pick in a draft and you'd be alright with it. Yeah, this card is hard for me to rate. I don't know. It might just be awesome. It should go here even. Just because if you're in the Convoke deck, it's gonna be awesome. But it's also like reasonable just to put in most decks, probably. But if you're in like the deck with the 1/1 tokens and stuff, it's probably worth, picking up here. So maybe I put that here. And I can just maybe, well, I do think the dragon is worse than this. I'll move it back here. I have no clue. You don't think the deal 4? Why would you always take the dragon? I think the dragon's pretty bad. But this could definitely be too high. I have no idea. I just thought it might kill a 3/1 or something, and then it would be really good. 3 mana, kill a 3/1, deal on 4, get a battle. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about perfecting it. But this is about what I was thinking. And just to get a picture, I mean, you've got some removal. Pretty good curve of creatures. Yeah, I played with the dragon some, and even in decks where it was like a good dragon deck, it didn't seem like you were like getting away with anything really. And I'd imagine in decks where it's just kind of a toss in, that it's going to be awful. Like, I don't think it's very good. I'm not supposed to have spaces. White commons. This one's good. I don't know if it's the best one. This one's kind of meh. Kind of meh. Probably worse than this one. I don't know what to make of you. Probably better than that guy. This thing, I don't know, maybe somewhere in here. I don't know. This is just this card. I don't know where you want this at. This does seem cool with some of those enchantments that make Phyrexians, but I don't know how high you can pick it. This seems bad. I mean, these seem like some of the worst cards to me. I get if you're in a Convoke deck, this guy might be okay. That's gonna be fine in a deck. This is probably not very good. I don't know how often you want Inspired Charge either. I have no idea on this cut short card. This guy sometimes was good. I like this guy the best, probably. Then probably the enchantment. Well, I think there might be a deck that wants it. Like if it's a slower white deck. I think it's bad in a normal white deck. But I don't know if there's a slower deck that might want it. Does that mean this is still in the middle, or what does that mean? Or does it mean this? I don't know. I like this fucker a lot. But maybe. I'm not changing my order. You like the land cyclers too much, I think. There's 6 mana, which is a lot. I'm not convinced on this guy either. Is this Knight card any good? I guess it's fine. Alright, I'm going to do it something like this. My energy drink hasn't hit me yet. This is boring the shit out of me now. White uncommons. Get fucking over here. God. Don't really like Quinde. You get enough of those 3/1 knights, maybe. This doesn't seem good to me either. I hate this card, but I don't know if I hate it any more than those. I don't like that one much. This one I like. This one's okay. What does this do? This guy's probably pretty good. This guy I didn't get to play with, probably pretty good. It's hard to cast. This guy's good. This guy's probably about here. Daxos, meh. I don't think that this is good, really. I mean, given something X-proof, I don't think is worth a card, really. I mean, you might catch somebody, though, black and red, so maybe I'm wrong about it. It's a sideboard card, at least. I don't really want that in my deck. I guess Daxos might be fine some of the time. I don't like these much. Although, this stuff's all probably better than these 4-drops. I mean, this card's fine. I don't know how much I want to tax this just for double white. I really don't know. I never played this knight. Mac, what are you making of this order? This is just a fucking just blind guess. On all of this. I never even played this knight. Where do you want it just in this pile or something? I mean, these could be low too. I think all these are pretty good cards. This might be too high on this thing because it costs 3 though. It might be worse than like both of these even. I don't know. It might be. The backside's pretty good, I guess. It does cost a lot to flip. Yeah, I'm lower on this now. I'm fine with these being here. I take all that over them. Yeah, this make it go in this pile. And this is more of sideboard. Phyrexian Censor. I don't know. I played with it a bunch. It didn't seem. It might be better than I think. I may just not have had good decks that were synergistic enough. I don't know. The Anthem, I think, is horrendous. I think this card is so much worse than everyone thinks. I think it's bad, and I think it's undesirable in your deck. That's what I think of it. I played with it. No, it is not a mini wedding announcement. I think of it as a gray ogre. It is a 2/2 for 3. And then they know that if you attack it, you can get an Anthem, so they just make trades with all your creatures. And if you ever flip it, by the time you flip it, you don't have a lot of creatures. It's just been horrible every time I played it. Awful. Beyond is the worst you could imagine it play out. It plays out worse. It's just so bad, knowing they might get an Anthem coming, and then they have to attack it. You'd have to be so incredibly far ahead to just play this thing and flip it right away. I think the card sucks. But I don't know that it's that much worse than this, and I don't really like Daxos. I really don't like any of these, and I really like to me, there's a huge gap. I'm even willing to show that here. I think these cards are like way worse than these cards. Way worse. I think this stuff is miles ahead of this stuff. Is basically how I see it. I mean, way down lower. Like these, I'm excited to have any of these in my deck, and these I don't want in my deck. Maybe Daxos once in a blue moon I would want in my deck if I have that much weight. What, this one? I mean, this one's probably better than the other one, but they're both not great. At least this one you get 4 life in a card instead of a 2/2. Neither one of them you can flip until the game's going. Like, by the time you can flip them, you'd much rather have a 4/4 Angel than a fucking... Like, this one's probably better on both halves. I don't know, I could move this one up a pile, maybe. But I still don't like it that much. I'm pretty confident on this ordering. I mean, some of these may jump around and some of these may... I don't think anything over here would ever come over here. Like, again, Daxos would if you're, like, heavy white. Not in an early draft. And then pairing it with the commons, you got some tricks that are pretty good. It's mostly just creatures again, though. There is a glut at 3. Where I think Mac is probably right. I'm not going to go back and take a new picture, but there's a lot of 3 mana cards. This guy probably doesn't need to be first in the commons. Because, like, I liked this guy more than I liked, like, the Censor. But, like, how much more do I like it, you know? I don't know. So, yeah. Could probably move him around. Now I gotta do the gold ones. You like Smite? Interesting. I could see that, I guess. It's cheap for that effect. That effect just usually sucks. Yeah, no, I could see that. And the format's fast enough, I could see that. Yeah, I could picture that. If I hadn't already taken my picture, I would move it at least here, but I already did, so whatever. Oh, this is what I'm dreading. There's so many cards. And I don't even know what they do. God damn it, pile. Well, this card I think is pretty good. I doubt it's going to be the best of the bunch. Firja is probably somewhere a little bit lower than it. This is probably better than Firja. Maybe as good as this, even. I don't know how to rate that. What's this thing? I don't like this thing very much. I don't think this is very good. Like, compared to a card like a Mistraven, like it's just you gotta go through the trouble to attack this. It's just like I don't like this thing very much. Every now and again, it might be great if you have like a lot of flyers that make tokens or something. This seems pretty good to me. I don't know how to do this one. I like this card. Shauna's fine. This guy seems quite good. Rayavaz. He seems okay. This guy was a little worse than I thought, but he was still good. This to me doesn't seem very good. Create a treasure, loot. I do think some of the green-red ones will play out better because they're easier to flip. Dina kind of sucks. Runa kind of sucks. Rada's probably ish. This guy's good. This guy's pretty good. I like this a lot. Maybe even up here. This seems good. This seems good. Graph probably around in there. This guy might be insane. This guy seems insane. This guy seems kind of meh. This guy's nice. Maybe up in here. Probably in here. Agar. Maybe in this area. This I like, but I've yet to get to play with it, so I don't know. And nobody's played it against me. I think it should be good, but I don't know. This guy's really good. This I don't like at all. I think it's garbage. I'm unsure on this one. You might be able to use this one because the backside is so good. But probably down here for me. And in this pile here, I don't think any of them are like unplayable or anything. Okay, which ones do you like less than Rona? One of the cards has to be the worst. So what cards do you like? Rona is horrible. It's a 3/4 for 4 that's hard to cast. It's fucking terrible. What do you like less than it of these gold cards? Like, what cards are worse? Well, Dina's in the same pile with it. This thing? I'd rather have this than Rona for sure. I might even be low on this. This could just be a 05 for 3. It flies. I'd rather have it than Rona. And this is maybe worse than Rona. But they're all in the same pile. Actually, Rada is probably... You're not going to have a lot of domain. I was rating Rada on the domain set. I do think it's better than these, though, still. Let me move some stuff around a little bit. I don't want Rada to have its own pile, either. This I just have no idea about. It might be good. This is probably unlikely to be great. I do like that. I have no idea. I think I like this card a lot. But I've yet to get to play with it, so I can't rate it too high. And nobody's cast it against me. It seems great, though. I want to play this card more than almost any card. Well, yeah, Convoke does help it, actually. So the Domain hurts it, but the Convoke helps it. It's still not going to be great. This, maybe I'm a bit high on. I don't know. Is it as good as these? Maybe it is. You know, this to me, this group seems a little better than this group. And this group seems really strong here. Maybe this is too high. I don't really know. This seems awesome. I don't know. These three seem super good. These two, I think, are pretty fucking good. All these piles could be wrong. Like maybe this goes up here. Yeah, I mean, Furja's certainly nothing special. It's good, I like it, but it's hard to cast. It's 2/4 for 5 mana. If you're already flipping a battle, you're probably doing just fine without triggering it. I mean, you're going to play Furja if you're black-white, but I don't think it's great. Mac, are you... Okay. Mirror Shield. I played him and he was kind of meh. What do you think of this card? Sculpted Perfection, and I don't know about Invasion, and then I don't know about this card. I like this card a bunch, but I've never cast it or had it cast against me. Well, do you want to move it up? This is where you get to tell me. I mean, I have top tier, I have these three. I have the Marshal, the Brawler, and this guy. And then I put the Forger, the Black-Red Saga, the Black-Green. Then we have these things. Well, it's gonna. Do any of these need to move down? I mean, I don't want it to have a pile by itself. What are the best ones of these? Like, we can move a couple things down, maybe. I don't know. Make a new pile. Wrath go here, maybe? I don't know. Shouldn't Invasion of Moog be a bit higher? What is Invasion of Moog? Oh. I think it should basically be here in the never play pile. Is what I think. How could this not be impactful enough, the Dimir battle? 3 mana, you draw a card, they discard a card, and then if you attack it, you get a sick creature. I don't know. I don't understand what could be wrong about that. It just seems fucking great to me. I like green white just fine, and I thought this card would be awful. And I drafted green white, and people told me to try this card, and I said, you know what, I'll try it. And guess what? It was goddamn awful. It's just terrible. I tried it in multiple green white decks. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. 4 mana to put a counter on your creatures is not good. It's dreadful. The card fucking sucks. And by that I mean, you know, 90% of the time you draw it, it's worse than a 4-drop creature. And then maybe 10% of the time it looks awesome. So you guys are all going to remember the 10% of the time. But I'm the type of person that remembers the 90%. People are like that with a lot of cards. I'll make it. That's what I'm supposed to do, is make claims. I think it sucks. This is my ratings. Matt can influence them. And I think it's bad. It's just not a good card. 5 loyalty on it. It's just, the card sucks. I could maybe see it being better in sealed if there's more board stalls. But in sealed, you get so many rares, I don't see why making my creatures +1/+1 is going to beat, like, a rare or something. I mean, that's exactly how it is. Also, I'm not, like, not to call you out, Tickle, but, like, a lot of people will make a comment like that, and I don't know, you know, it's your first chat. I don't know of you as a player. Like, did it actually win you the game? I mean, I believe you cast the card and won the game, but, like, did this card, like, did it do way more than just, like, a random 4/4 for 4 would do? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to have, like, really done something. Well, I don't know about that. Real unnamed J-Rab says it's unplayable in limited, the blue-black battle. The only reason I don't have the blue-black battle up here is because I've never played with it or against it. I mean, yeah, if you flip it, but it seems these 5 toughness battles, like, I don't know. You have to play your creatures, not get in combat with them, then spend a turn casting this to buff them up, then attack this thing. It never worked out for me, that's for sure. The format seemed fast. Again, I'm with you guys on this card. I want to have it higher. But all I know is I got it, like, super late every draft. I was never in blue-black when I saw it, so I never got to play it. And nobody ever cast it against me. But it just seems great to me. So I don't know yet, but I want it to be good. I think it looks really good. Here's another thing I don't think people are thinking about that I think about. Like, I know J-Rab doesn't think on this kind of level at all, for instance. A blue-black deck cares way less about, like, dealing its damage and stuff. Like, a blue-black deck is probably going to have some evasive creatures, and, like, it can attack this battle and not feel bad about giving up 4 damage. My green-white deck, like, doesn't really want to deal 5 to this battle a lot of the time. Like, especially if you've been curving out and attacking them. Like, the best case scenario, you don't even really want to attack this fucking thing. But I think that comes up, like, almost never. I mean, this is I'll move it here because I think it's probably better than these 2 cards. But I think people are going to play this card, and I hate to use stats, but I don't think this is going to have a good game in hand win rate. I'll be surprised if it does. I think it's going to be bad. Some games it'll be the best card, and it'll be the only card that could win you the game, probably. So, I mean, I'll move it up here. But I think in general, it's definitely not what you want. I just think in general, like, the battles like this and a lot of the green-red ones, when you're playing, when your green-red deck, you know, there's some green-red decks that they'll all have some 2-drops, I guess. But, you know, some of your green-red decks might have, like, more aggressive red 2-drops, the 3/1, stuff like that. Stuff that's really, like, getting them dead fast. And then the other green-red deck might have, you know, mana elves. And like you're playing this guy and big creatures and stuff. And then it's just like, boom, play a battle, attack, flip it, because they're at 20. Because you've been playing an elf. So like battles in that deck are going to be great. I think like this battle's going to be great. You get some card advantage, attack it with this thing or whatever. You're not really racing. But like the battles in like these colors and like the white aggressive battles, I fucking hate them. I don't like them at all. You're overpaying for some sort of creature or something in your deck that's supposed to be aggressive. You spend 3 mana on a 2/2 vigilance, and like they spend 3 mana on a real creature, and how are you ever supposed to defeat this battle? You're just behind the whole game. And all your deck wants to do is play from ahead. Whereas this blue-black doesn't mind playing from behind a little bit. Cast a Ravenous Rat, cast this thing, play a flyer. Eventually, there's no hurry. Chip in a little bit, flip this thing. You don't play games like that with your white aggressive decks. That's not, it doesn't work that way. That's why I think those battles are just so bad. But this is as close as I'm going to get. And I may be wrong on a lot of this, but that's my reasoning at least, right? At least my reasoning probably makes some sense. It's going great now that I finally got this all done. Let's see. This doesn't look like it. No, that's 11. All right, Mac. I can post these later into Discord or whatever. Caius, I did 11 of them. I did all the commons and all the uncommons. You can go back and watch the VOD. It took an hour and a half. It's generically stacked. They're not perfect at all. Like I tried to give some context. Like when they're not going to be in their order anymore. But like when I did these white ones, I had a huge gap. Like these aren't going to be the cards, but I had like a huge gap because I thought there were like 6 that were really good and then like the rest I didn't. Anyways.